Hi everybody! In this video I will show you how I made Riptide, Percy Jackson's sword for LARP and Cosplay. For the design of the sword, I relied on the description of the book that says that Riptide is a shimmering bronze sword with a double-edged blade, a leather-wrapped grip, and a flat hilt riveted with gold studs. The only modification I made was the length. The book described it as a 90 cm sword, but this version will be 106 cm long. Riptide will have a fiberglass rod as a sole. The rod is 1 meter long and it 8 mm diameter. I blanked the edges to avoid that they will mess up the sword once I will use it. The blade will be made with plastazote, that is, expanded polyethylene, of the thickness of 5 mm. First thing first, I drew the blade on a piece of paper and I cut it to use it as a reference. My blade will be 76 cm long and 6 cm thick. I cut 3 plastazote stripes using a cutter. One of these, the one that will be the central one, has a cut in the middle that starts from 3 cm from one edge and goes till the other. This allows to have a 3 cm tip that will make the sword safer to use. The central cut is 6 mm thick, so the rod could get stuck inside.
Guys, I know how to get out of here. I'll come back for you, Mom. I promise.
After that, I fixed the rod in the slot, using paper tape. The paper tape is important because it has the property to absorb the glue I will use to stick the stripes together, and everything will be more stable. After I applied the tape, I put the universal glue, I used the bow stick, on the opposite side to start to secure the rod to the stripe. And I put a stripe of tape also on this side. Then I reinforced the tip of the sword using some hot glue and more tape to avoid that it will break, being the most delicate part. The tape has already been cut as the tip, to avoid that it will be seen once I will sharpen the sword. Now it's time to merge the stripes. To unite two stripes, you have to pass a thin layer of glue on both of them. I used a knife, but a spatula will be more functional. Once all the stripes will be united, the glue has to dry. The glue will completely dry in about a day. I put the sword under some big books to keep it well packed. Then I switched to the hilt of the knob. I cut the reference from a piece of paper, and I cut 3 stripes for each of them too. The hilt will be 3 cm thick and 15 cm long, while the knob will be about 4x4. For the knob, I cut a slot in one of the plastazote stripes from 3 cm to the edge again and 6 mm thick again, to stack the remaining edge of the rod. For the hilt, since it will be in the center of the sword, I cut one of the 3 stripes in the middle instead, and I will glue the 2 half stripes separated by 6 mm between the other 2 strips. Then I glued the hilt and the knob, as I did for the blade. Once they dried, I drew the shape of the hilt, the knob and the blade, and I cut them using the cutter.
The same old story, the same old song. Don't act up, don't act down, be strong.
To make the sharp size of the blade, I marked a line about 1 cm from the borders of the plastazote, along all the edges, and then another line exactly in the middle of the central stripe. I will use them as a reference to make an oblique cut and make the edges sharp. My cut wasn't really accurate, but this isn't a big problem, because now I have to pass the sandpaper on the blade, the hilt and the knob to make the cuts more uniform and Riptide more realistic.
dad was never there. The only family that really mattered, well, she vanished into the air. And now I finally find a haven, someplace safe where I can stay till it's back. You're back, Percy. Now go, go.
Riptide is described having some studs on the hilt, so I cut some plastered zout circles and then I glued them on the hilt and the knob. At the end, I glued the hilt to the blade and the knob on the rod.
But no one ever will take my side. All I ever do is take the fall. I swear that I'm a good kid. Guess I'm good for nothing at all. The school's in 6 years. Every battle, every day. No one ever tells me that
I made the handle using electrical wire. I sticked it to the rod using insulating tape. Once I made a lot of windings, everyone sticked with a piece of tape. I coated the whole handle with more insulating tape.
smack and no friends and no hope and no mom.
Come on, grab some ambrosia and let the nectar flow.
Why is everyone scraping part of their plate into the fire? Is the food here really that bad?
Now the main structure is ready. We just have to cover the plastered zout with some natural rubber latex. I put some latex in a mug, and I also prepared a glass of mixture of water and detergent, so we can wash the brush after each pass, so it won't be damaged after this work.
My dad is Hermes, he messengers things. You'll know his sign by his shoes with those wings. I'd wait by the phone, but the phone never rings. Oh no! When your dad's a god, life can be tough.
After every coat of latex it has to dry. You can use an air dryer to speed up the process.
Annabeth,
My mom's Athena, she's smart and she's wise. She's sworn off gluten and she's sworn off guys. But if she came to camp, it'd be a surprise. Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh, and my stepmom, she hates me and my
You have to pass about 4 to 6 layers of latex and then we can paint it. Every coat of paint should be mixed with some latex, so it will adhere better and the sword will be more resistant. Counting coats of latex and coat of paint and latex mixture, there must be about 10 to 12 layers. Riptide is described as a celestial bronze sword, so I decided to use dark bronze as a base color, and I used lighter shades gradually till the cutting edges, mixing the bronze and some gold.
wants to meet her, goddess of grain. She gets excited when it starts.
Then I lightened the edges of the hilt and the knob, and I painted the stubs gold.
Oh no. Right, for their 16th birthday, my friends got a car. I got a fern and
For the handle, I cut a piece of fake leather, long as the grip and wide as its circumference. I drilled it with a lot of holes, spaces apart about 5 mm between them and among the edge, so I can pass the thread through. Then I made a lot of knots at one end of the thread. And I treated the needle.
To explore new frontiers and no one has seen.
I put some glue on the leather and I glued it to the handle, so it won't move when I will sew it. The seam must be done starting from the inside to the outside and entering from the outside to the inside to the opposite side and going on this way.
Seems my good intentions always crash and burn. Everything I try to do will fail. Never once will I prevail. Going wrong at every turn.
At the end, you should make another knot and put some more universal glue. And now Riptide is ready to kill some monsters and to turn into a pen just in case.
It's a seashell. No, it's a gift from a god. Maybe my dad was a screw up too. His best laid plans always falling through. Maybe he did the best that he could do. Maybe my dad wasn't always there. Maybe he never knew how to care. But hey, that's life and life ain't fair. And I know right now things are less